Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood, a snack for later, unaired. I worked in public broadcasting for a few years doing closed captioning and archival work. Most of the time, it was just routine encoding of reruns and promos. But every so often, we'd get something from an external storage server, usually forgotten test footage, alternate animation takes, or holiday promos. Then one day, a file showed up in our system with no metadata, timestamped from 5 years earlier. The title was simply DTN_EP_X, not for publication. It was 13 minutes and 32 seconds long. I figured it was a promo. I was wrong. The episode begins. It opened with the usual music, though slightly off pitch, as if it had been recorded in an empty auditorium. The animation looked normal at first, though the colors were muted. Daniel was standing by his window, staring outside. He didn't blink for a solid 40 seconds. His tail twitched in slow, uneven movements. Then, without prompting, the narrator spoke. His voice was familiar, calm, but his words were odd. Today, Daniel is going to see what's for lunch. And maybe, what is lunch? There was no jingle. Daniel walked out of the house, slowly. He didn't smile. He just kept whispering something under his breath. The audio wasn't clear. I turned up the volume. It sounded like, grape jelly mayonnaise. Grape jelly mayonnaise. The windows. Daniel moved through the neighborhood, but the houses looked wrong. Some windows were bricked over. Others were too small for the size of the homes. He walked slowly to Miss Elena's house and looked directly into her kitchen window. Sometimes you look in, sometimes you find what you need, said the narrator. Then after a pause. Also, I never liked Prince. Too many frills. I snapped one of his CDs just now. You didn't see it, but I did it. Daniel watched as Miss Elena spread mayonnaise onto a slice of bread. He tilted his head unnaturally far, almost a full 90 degrees, and licked his paw, smearing jelly across it. You can't spread truth on a sandwich, the narrator mumbled. But you can try. Daniel didn't enter the house. He just breathed heavily against the window and whispered, "Not ripe yet." Mayonnaise and memory. Next was Oh, the Owl's Treehouse. Daniel climbed it without asking. No one was home. Inside, the fridge was open. Every shelf was filled with mayonnaise jars, unlabeled, all slightly different shades. Daniel opened one and sniffed it. "Smells like forgetting," he said. He opened another. This one had a faint purplish hue. Grapes went wrong. He started mixing them on the floor. The camera zoomed in far too close, so close that you could see the oily sheen between his claws. The narrator chimed in again. Prince couldn't dance. Not really. I broke a second CD. Threw it in the sink. You'll never find it. Things unravel. Daniel started going to each neighbor's window. He never knocked, just looked. Sometimes he scratched the glass lightly. Other times he whispered ingredients. Bread, claw, elbow, jelly. They're all full of sugar, the narrator said, chuckling softly. It's not his fault. He's growing. By the 11-minute mark, the colors had fully desaturated. Daniel's sweater was gray. The houses were collapsing in reverse, walls folding into themselves like paper. No music played. Final scene. Daniel walked into a room that had no walls, only endless rows of refrigerators. He opened each one. Every shelf had a blurry, shadowy figure inside. Motionless. Snacks, Daniel said. He opened a mayonnaise jar and began painting symbols on the fridge doors with it. The symbols pulsed slightly. The narrator returned for the final line. Next time, Siegfried and Roy will visit. Maybe they'll bring their tiger. Maybe the tiger will bring them. Cut to black. Static. Then a brief flash, one frame, of a table covered in shattered jewel cases. A purple symbol scrawled in jelly across the wood. Aftermath. The file disappeared from our system the next day. I asked around. No one had heard of episode 10. The public database had no record of it. But sometimes, when I pass the breakroom fridge, I hear a low voice murmuring, "Grape jelly mayonnaise, grape jelly mayonnaise." And all the lunch bags are unlabeled now.